Joining us on the broadcast is Mr. Shivam Mehta. He's the executive partner of Lakshmikumaran Sridharan Attorneys. Mr. Mehta, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Mehta, the broad thing that we're hearing from the council, of course, is that they seem to have agreed largely on the need to reduce health and life insurance premiums at 18%. But now it's been, the specifics of this proposal have now been referred to the GOM for further discussion. Apart from that, what is your sense of the big news points that are coming out of here?
Okay, so yeah, insurance, I think for last 1 month, this was a topic of discussion whether the health insurance and life insurance, which is generally taken by the common man, whether at all there should be a GST on it. That was the first demand. And second was whether if GST has to be there, whether it should be 18 or we can have a lower rate of 12 or 5%. Also, for senior citizens, if we can have a specific exemption of GST on these health insurance and life insurance. I think that was one of the agenda before this council meeting, which they have referred it to the government of ministers specifically with the timeline, like what they said in the press release that we have a timeline till October, which means in the November meeting, they will come up with the exact details. So I think now it's very, very clear there will be some relief, but whether there'll be upright exemption on these services or whether there'll be some lower rate of tax, that for a month we all have to wait and see what the decision will be taken by the council. But yeah, it's a very, very big relief, because what I know is that some of the states were not in the favor of it, because most of the GST collected, at least 75% of that GST collection on insurance goes to the states. And the GST collection broadly on this was around 9,000 crores. So it was a huge number. So to bring state on board itself was a huge task for the council, which they have successfully done and they have referred it. Now we have to wait because of course this GOM has to come up with a report. But with the fixed timelines, that's quite an appreciable job that we have to wait till November, but at least we'll have some decision on the table on insurance, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you're pointing out, of course, the GOM is supposed to report by October latest, and perhaps we'll have a decision in the next meeting. Now, there has been a reduction in GST rates for specified cancer drugs from 12% to 5%, quite in line with what the government has been doing. Even in the budget, we heard of some concessions. What's your thought on that?
So see, these are life-saving drugs. So there was custom exemption for life-saving drugs so far as these cancer drugs are concerned, but few names were missing in the custom exemption, which in the previous budget they have brought. On the same lines, the exemption was common for customs, as well as GST. But GST exemption cannot be brought because you need to, because of the technical reason that it has to go to the GST Council, and the exemption has to be brought. So it was always on the cards. Once they have approved that these drugs are life-saving drugs, which generally ministry approve after the recommendation from Ministry of Health. Once they get an approval, this was on the cards. Only thing is, because in the budget they could not have brought this GST rate reduction. Now they have brought same in the line of what they have done in customs in the last budget. So this was due and it was supposed to happen. So that's technically they could not do in the last budget. They have done it now.
Right now, the rate rationalization bit, we've had the FM just remark saying that they're looking into the number of tax slabs and the rates. What's your sense on that? It's been under the works for quite some time now, and the council has been looking at it.
Yeah, I think they have made some. Today also in this press release they said that they have formed a GOM and they are looking at that recommendation. But nation is really looking up to it, this GST rate reduction, particularly in the light of the fact that the GST collections have gone up tremendously. If I compare the numbers from 2023 vis-a-vis 2024, there is 10% increase on month-to-month collections. So in the last month in August also, the number GST collections was pretty high in terms of 1.75 lakh crores, which is a huge number. Nation is ready, collections are there. So I think only thing which is missing is to get all the states on board, because like the other part of it is that they are losing on the GST compensation cess which they have to distribute, etc. Maybe that peculiarity, if they take care of it, these rate rationalization is something for which the country is waiting for a quite long time, and it's the right time for nation to take a call and move ahead with this. But nothing seems to be working till the time these reports are tabled. And unfortunately, this report do not have a timeline like insurance, etc. So I don't see it on the cards even in the next GST Council minutes. That's what it was indicated even in the press release today.
All right, Mr. Mehta, appreciate you joining us. Thank you very much for joining us.